Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of my Create This Book series by me and Moriah Elizabeth. Today I am going to be doing 3 more prompts. Before I begin, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's see what I can do for today. This is only episode 4, and so far some of the prompts have been a little bit out there, but here is the first one of the day, which is to create an array of media. So I'm supposed to draw the same thing over and over, but using a different art supplies every single time that I do it. So I started off by drawing out these little lines, and then I separated them with some triangles, and if you haven't guessed by now, I'm going to be drawing some colored pencils. The first art supplies that I went for was Posca pens, of course, and I'm not sure why I decided on pink, and I'm also not sure why I started 3 colored pencils down and not just at the top one, but that's okay, we're here now. So I decided to just go ahead and color the whole thing in pink, and I wanted to add a lot of detail to it, but I made a rule that I could only use that specific art supplies for each thing. So I didn't want to mix art supplies together to create art. I just wanted this one to be Posca pen, just wanted the next one to be pencil, and so on. So that's what I took it as, just a kind of challenge to see what I could do with one art medium at a time. So this next one that I did was just a regular old pencil, and just kind of saw what I could do in terms of shading and stuff in that. And then I moved on to using a pen, which got even more tricky, but that's okay. I just did my best and added in shading and tried to kind of keep them all uniform in terms of the lighting that I chose to do. I wanted it to look like there was like a stack of colored pencils all lined up next to each other and made out of different forms. The next art supplies that I went for was actual colored pencils, which was kind of weird, coloring in a colored pencil with colored pencils. I was very hopeful for this one, but I could not get these colored pencils to do really what I wanted them to do, so I was a little bit disappointed, but I still tried my best with this one. And then it was time to move on to the next art supplies. For this one, I decided to use these little fine liners, which are also called detail doodlers. So I decided to go ahead with these ones and just kind of color in along the same lines. For this one, I used multiple colors though, which I also did for some of the other ones as well, so that was kind of a fun touch. And then I decided to just go in with a regular old pen, not a colorful one, and color this one in. So this one was also a little bit tricky to get the shading right on since it was just one color. And then after that, I actually got to go in with some Prismacolors, which I was very happy about. This one is probably my favorite, and I love how this one turned out the most. Prismacolors just give you such a smooth blend and really helped with the shading and colors on this one, so I preferred this one over the rest so far. And then my little pencil broke, but I still had a little more work to do, and instead of going to sharpen it, I just used the little nib. So let me know how lazy you are, but that's me. And then I went ahead, and for the last art supplies, I chose to do Ohuhu markers for this one. And so I decided on red because I didn't have any other red in there, and I thought, that'd be a good balance. And then after that, I had completed every single one, so I wanted to cut them out. I decided to round the bottom a little bit more just to add a little more detail to it. And then I also cut out the little tips of the pencils, and once I had cut every single little section out, then it was time to actually put it into the book. I think it looks so cool, and I love to see all of the different materials together, but now it's time to put it into the book. So after I actually stuck it down, I decided the page could use a little bit more, so I took each supplies that I used and wrote out the name of the supplies as well as if it were being written with the colored pencil that it drew. Does that make sense? I know that's a little bit of an inception there, but that's what it is. That's what I did. And then for the last one, I used a pencil because Ohuhu would bleed through the page, but I still did it, and I think it turned out so cool and so fun, and I'd love to do this again, even more time and even more detailed. But here is the next one, which is to create folds. So I'm supposed to fold this page any way that I want, and the only thing that came to mind was my amateur way to make a paper airplane. So like I tore the page out for, something cool, but no origami, no anything crazy, just, one of those little wimpy paper airplanes, the only one that I ever learned how to make, but that's just what came to mind when I heard, fold papers. So that's what I did, and after I'd completed the whole thing by folding up the sides every which way, I didn't test out its function. I mean, one of its wings were literally torn, so I didn't think it would fly very well, but this is what it looks like, and, it's alright. I folded it how I wanted to, so I did the prompt, but we're just gonna tuck it in here and kind of forget about it for a little while, and let's move on to the next prompt, which is to create letters. So I'm supposed to focus just on the lettering and not about words or what they mean necessarily, but just do it for aesthetics, just for the aesthetic value. And my favorite letter is K, because that's the start of my name. I'm not sure if anybody else has a favorite letter. If you do, I guess let me know what it is and why, because I'd be interested. And then I drew my own little version of like an and symbol, and then I put a B because that is the start of my husband's name, so I thought it would be cute to do a little K and B little thing there, a little love. Then I tried to make them look really pretty and aesthetic by thickening up some of the lines. I focused on like making the downstrokes a little more thick, and then I also drew little hearts around it to add even more of an aesthetic value. And I decided, why not go crazy and add a whole nother color in there too to help define everything. So I put this darker color only on the right side of the words, or the letters rather, and then after that it was pretty much completed. I felt like it could use a little bit more definition though, so I went ahead and took a pencil and just added in some shading along the right side of the letters as well, just to kind of like make it look a little more 3D. And then I also took a white gel pen just to add in those little special final details that really made the letters a little more aesthetic, you know what I'm saying? So then after that they were completed, and it's a cute little page. It's just fun, and I like the letters and I like the emphasis of it, but it's pretty simple. So now it's time to move on to the last prompt of the day, which is to create a meal. Now let me just say, I was very, very excited about this page. In that moment, I knew exactly what my ideal meal was. Now, it would change, on any given day, but in this moment of time, my ideal meal was Chick-fil-A. Okay, so it was on the mind, it was on the brain. The first thing that popped in my head was waffle fries immediately, and an Oreo shake, and of course their sweet little chicken nuggets. So I decided that is what I was going to draw. I started with an initial kind of really rough sketch, and then I went into refine everything. So I worked on my little Oreo milkshake that I would get as a little dessert, little drink there, and then I moved on to working on the delicious waffle fries that define Chick-fil-A, and then I went ahead with the details. I made sure it was really kind of detailed with all of the symbols and all of the lettering, and then it was really hard to draw waffle fries. I don't know if you've ever tried to draw waffle fries. I never have before this, but it's really, really difficult, just let me tell you. And then of course I had to draw in the chicken nuggets, so I drew out the little container, and then I put a whole bunch of little blobs in there to symbolize and represent the chicken nuggets. And then after that I made the little top of the container for it all and wrote out the little Chick-fil-A words and their little saying, they put like to dip or not to dip on the top, just a little fun thing. So I decided to keep it really true to Chick-fil-A in this one, guys. And then I went ahead and used my Ohuhu markers to color everything in. It was my goal to make this look a little bit like cartoony, was kind of my goal in this one. I wanted to just have it really stylized and kind of like pop art, cartoon fun. So that's what I went with. So the first thing I did was outline everything in black just to define it all and really make sure that everything popped and stood out. And then once I had finally done all of that, I decided to erase my lines, add in a couple more little details here and there, and now it's time to go in with the red. So the first thing I did was grab a little red fine liner and do the smaller details of everything, like the lettering and things of the packaging. That way I wouldn't forget to do it later. And now it's time for this cup, which I colored in very chaotically. I went from the little chicken to the cherry, then back to the chicken, and then I stopped because I got some marker on my desk. Then I went back to the cherry, to the straw, back to the chicken. I mean, I was all over the place with this one, but we did finally get everything colored in red. And then I went ahead and put the red on the rest of the things as well, including little dots behind these little waffle fries, just to add in some extra detail. Then I went ahead and grabbed a very, very light gray for some shading and just to add a little bit of accents on everything. I didn't want to leave everything just plain white because that's just pretty simple and doesn't add a lot of dimension or depth, but I did take this light gray just to add in a couple of little shadows on everything, even if it was just white. I decided to take a cream color for the whipped cream of the milkshake, and then it was time to color in the food. So for the fries, I kind of chose a dark orange and a yellow to kind of blend everything out and make it look like waffle fries. And then for the chicken, I started with this red to kind of put in some shadows. Then I went in with an orange kind of terracotta color, and then put sunflower color over that as well, just to make them look nice, golden, and crispy. Okay, then it was time to cut them out, and I thought they looked so cool at this point. I was like, dang, Chick-fil-A, like, come hire me, look at this, like, I can draw you pictures of your chicken. So anyway, then I glued them all into the book, and I was getting really hungry for Chick-fil-A at this point. I shaded everything, and guess what I had for dinner that night, guys? I literally had Chick-fil-A because I have the best husband ever. So here's a picture of my Chick-fil-A. So anyway, let's take a look back at all of the prompts from today. Here's the first one where I used a whole bunch of different mediums to create colored pencils all on the same page. This one was so fun and so cool because you can see all of the different things I used to create each individual colored pencil that made up the group of colored pencils. This was just a really fun challenge and prompt. Here's the next one where I could fold this paper any way that I wanted to, and I made this kind of amateur funky looking paper airplane with a broken wing, but you know, we tried and it's still good. And here is the next one where I created letters for aesthetic value, and I did me and my husband's initials, just a little cute K and B moment with some little hearts around it. Super cute and simple. And here is my favorite prompt of the day where I created my ideal meal, a sweet, yummy, delicious Chick-fil-A meal. Let me know which prompt was your favorite. Mine is definitely this one with the nuggets, the fries, the shake. But let me know what you think and which one is your favorite and what is your ideal meal. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!